Toyota just strapped 6 wheels and a king-size bed into the same vehicle. You might not believe it, but this vehicle is basically a military truck that moonlights as a 5-star hotel. Yeah, this is the 2026 Toyota 6x6 camper, and it's here to completely rewrite what we think a road trip looks like. Meet the Beast. Why Toyota built a 6x6 camper. Now, Toyota's no stranger to building dependable vehicles. You think of them and you think Camrys, Corollas, maybe a Hilux tearing up some desert rally, cars that just run forever. But when you hear Toyota and luxury 6-wheeled camper, that's not exactly the combo most of us expected. Yet, here it is, and it's not just another gimmick slapped together to grab headlines. This thing represents Toyota stepping boldly into a new space, the high-end off-road motorhome market. That's a segment normally ruled by boutique builders or ultra-expensive military-looking rigs. Toyota's basically saying, hey, what if we take all the reliability we're known for, mix in some engineering muscle, and then turn it into a mobile luxury suite that can actually go places? And that's where the 6x6 setup makes sense. Instead of the usual 4 wheels most motorhomes have, this beast has 6, with power being sent across all of them. More contact points with the ground, more stability, and more confidence when you're slogging through mud, sand, or even snowy inclines. In simple words, it's like giving your RV hiking boots and a second pair of legs. The bigger picture? People are craving adventure but don't want to sacrifice comfort. Traditional campers might get you into a forest or desert, but you'll usually be dealing with compromises. With this 6x6, Toyota is basically saying you can have your off-grid exploration and your 5-star amenities too. And honestly, that combo is what makes this thing stand out right from the jump. It's rugged, it's ridiculous, but it's also strangely logical once you think about where the camper market's heading. So the big question is, how do you actually power something this big and this ambitious? Well, let's find that out in the next chapter. Muscle and mileage, the 3.5-liter twin-turbo V6 hybrid. Let's be real, a camper this massive can't run on a glorified lawnmower engine. Toyota knew they needed serious muscle under the hood, and that's why they went with a 3.5-liter twin-turbo V6 hybrid. Now, numbers aren't everything, but in this case they're kind of jaw-dropping, roughly 500 horsepower and 650 pound-feet of torque. Translation: this thing doesn't just move, it hauls. Torque like that means you can tow trailers, boats, or even another car without breaking a sweat. It also means when you hit a steep incline or a patch of loose terrain, the 6x6 isn't begging for mercy. It's charging through with confidence. And since it's a hybrid, you're not dealing with the usual gas-guzzling monster RV reputation either. Toyota's setup balances brute strength with efficiency, giving you better mileage than the old V8s and diesels typically used in RVs. That's huge when you're hundreds of miles from civilization. But here's where it gets even better. That hybrid system also works in tandem with Toyota's intelligent power distribution. Power doesn't just slam into all 6 wheels equally. It's shifted around depending on where traction is needed. One wheel slips on sand. No problem. The brains under the hood reroute torque to the wheels that can actually grip. What does this mean for real people? It's simple. You're not just buying horsepower for bragging rights. You're buying the peace of mind that you can climb that sketchy mountain trail or cross that sandy wash without ending up stuck for hours. And on the flip side, you're also saving fuel so you can go farther between refills. So yeah, it's powerful, it's efficient, and it's clever. But raw muscle only takes you so far if the chassis can't back it up. And that's exactly what Chapter 3 is all about. Chassis and terrain mastery. Okay, so the engine's a beast, But what really makes this camper shine is how it handles the world beneath its wheels. Because let's be honest, you don't buy a six-wheeled Toyota camper to stay in a parking lot at KOA. You buy it to crawl over rocks, ford rivers, and tackle backcountry trails that most RVs wouldn't dare attempt. Enter the adaptive air suspension. This is like giving the camper adjustable legs. One moment, you're lowering it down for a stable, comfortable highway cruise. The next, you're raising it up several inches to clear a boulder or push through a shallow stream. It's that flexibility that keeps it equally happy on the interstate or in the middle of nowhere. Then there's ground clearance. Toyota's clearly thought about the big off-road obstacles. The camper's stance is tall, with reinforced bumpers and underbody protection that make it less likely you'll scrape or smash something vital when the trail gets rough. Combine that with 6 driven wheels, and what you've got is stability most motorhomes could only dream about. Think of it like this. A regular RV is like wearing sneakers on a hiking trail. It'll work until the terrain gets serious. The Toyota 6x6? That's heavy-duty boots with ankle support, crampons, and maybe even trekking poles for good measure. And let's not forget towing stability. That extra axle makes a big difference if you're pulling gear behind you. Instead of fishtailing or wobbling on sharp turns, the 6x6 keeps things planted and balanced. It's a subtle upgrade that makes a huge difference when you're hauling. So yeah, Toyota didn't just build a luxury camper. They engineered a trail-ready rig that's every bit as capable as it looks. But here's the kicker. Off-road capability is only half the story. Because once you've conquered the wilderness, you've got to live in it. And that's where this story gets even more intriguing. Self-sufficient exterior and power strategy. So you've parked in some remote valley with no hookups in sight, no electricity, no campground facilities, nothing. Normally, that's when RV life gets tricky. But for this Toyota camper, that's exactly where it thrives. Let's start with the solar setup. Toyota has baked in integrated roof-mounted solar panels, and they're not just there for show. They feed into an onboard lithium battery system that keeps the essentials and the luxuries running smoothly without needing a noisy generator. That means your fridge stays cold, your lights stay on, and you can even fire up that induction cooktop for a proper dinner. All without worrying about draining your fuel tank. Speaking of lights, the exterior LED light bar is one of those you don't realize how badly you need it until you do features. Imagine setting up camp after dark, trying to wrangle gear in the pitch black. Flip a switch, and suddenly the whole campsite is lit up like daylight. It's practical, but it also gives the camper this futuristic, expedition-ready vibe. And because everything ties into the hybrid system, you're not betting everything on a single power source. You've got solar, you've got battery, and you've got the hybrid engine to recharge when needed. It's basically triple redundancy. So you're never that person stuck in the middle of nowhere with a dead RV and no backup plan. What's clever here is that Toyota's turned the exterior into more than just tough looks. It's a self-sufficient shell that actively supports the interior experience. It's like the outer armor that ensures the inner palace can actually function, even in the most remote spots. And speaking of that inner palace, get ready, because Chapter 5 is where Toyota really flexes with the luxury side of this monster. Home on wheels, interior layout, comfort, and usable luxury. Step inside this thing and it's like Toyota deliberately played a trick on your senses. On the outside, you've got a hulking 6-wheeled machine that looks like it belongs in a convoy somewhere deep in the Sahara. But once the door slides open, suddenly, you're standing in what feels more like a boutique hotel suite than a camper. The interior is layered with premium materials, soft leather seats that look ready for hours of lounging, real wood accents that add warmth instead of that usual sterile RV vibe, and ambient lighting that softly glows instead of blasting fluorescent white. It's cozy, but it's also sophisticated. The kind of place where you wouldn't mind sitting down after a long day of kicking up dust. And Toyota hasn't just thrown in luxury for show. The layout is built for usability. The kitchen setup comes complete with an induction cooktop, safer and cleaner than gas when you're constantly moving, a smart refrigerator to keep your food fresh, and a compact oven for when you decide campfire hot dogs just won't cut it. The dining area? It's modular. By day, it's a roomy spot for meals or a card game. By night, it folds down seamlessly into a sleeping area. But here's the kicker. You also get a proper king-size bed at the back. None of this cramped, squeeze into a cubby business. It's a bed where you can actually stretch out, roll over, and sleep like a human being. Add in clever storage nooks, climate control tied into the hybrid power system, and insulation that keeps you cool in deserts and warm in frosty mountain passes, and you start to see the bigger picture. This isn't camping stripped down to bare bones. This is camping upgraded to 5-star standards. Feels like home, right? Well, it also needs to behave like a car, which brings us straight into the tech and safety smarts of Chapter 6. Smarts and safety, infotainment, driver assist, and satellite backup. So, you've got a rolling luxury lodge. That's great, but here's the truth. It's still a massive 6-wheeled vehicle, and maneuvering something this big could easily feel like trying to parallel park an aircraft carrier. That's where Toyota's tech package really shows its worth. Front and center is a crisp 15-inch touchscreen infotainment system that controls just about everything: navigation, climate, lighting, and camper functions. Don't want to take your hands off the wheel? No problem. Voice commands let you tweak the air conditioning, set a destination, or dim the lights in the back while keeping your eyes on the road. Then, there's the smart home integration. Imagine pulling into camp, pulling out your phone and setting the temperature inside before you even open the door. Or checking the security cameras remotely if you hear something rustling around outside at night. It's practical peace of mind packaged with futuristic convenience. On the driving front, Toyota's gone heavy with safety assists. Adaptive Cruise keeps you sane on long highways. Lane keeping nudges the rig back in place if you drift. And those 360-degree cameras are a lifesaver when you're threading a 6-wheeler into a tight campsite or backing out of a narrow trail. And if all that fails, the satellite communication system is your ultimate safety net. Out in the wilderness, cell service drops out fast, but a built-in SOS channel means you're never truly cut off. Whether it's an emergency breakdown or a medical issue, you can still call for help. All these systems work together to do one thing: free you from micromanaging a massive machine so you can focus on the fun part, the adventure itself. But that does bring us to the big question. Who's actually buying this monster, and why? The final chapter of this journey gets real practical. Who buys this and why it's a market game changer? Let's cut to the chase. This camper isn't for everyone. It's not your entry-level weekend RV, and it's definitely not built for folks just looking for a cheap road trip solution. No. The 2026 Toyota 6x6 camper is aimed squarely at 3 types of people. First, the hardcore overlanding enthusiast, the kind of person who looks at a map and immediately drives toward the blank, unmarked sections. They want rugged capability, but aren't willing to sleep on a thin foam pad ever again. This camper gives them both. Second, professionals and explorers who need reliable remote access. Think researchers, photographers, or even remote working creatives who want their office to be wherever their wheels can take them. The combination of comfort and off-grid self-sufficiency is a dream setup. And finally, the wealthy adventurer, Let's be honest, some buyers just want the bragging rights of a rolling six-wheeled luxury palace. And hey, if you can afford it, why not? Now, yes, it's going to be priced in the premium range. Toyota hasn't released numbers yet, but this isn't coming cheap. Still, when you stack up the value, a high-end truck, a luxury RV, and a self-sustaining power system all in one, it actually makes more sense than buying those things separately. The trade-offs? It's big, so city driving will be a chore and maintenance won't exactly be Honda Civic money. But the appeal here isn't urban convenience. It's the promise of taking a plush, climate-controlled bedroom to the ends of the earth. And that's why it's a potential market shifter. Toyota's reputation for bulletproof durability paired with luxury and cutting-edge tech could completely rewrite the expectations for what a camper should be. So here's the closing thought. Imagine swapping out your next hotel stay for a rolling six-wheeled palace. Desert, mountains, coastlines, all yours, without ever leaving home behind. It's part tank, part hotel. And if Toyota nailed the balance, the 6x6 camper won't just change weekend plans. It'll change how wealthy people think about travel.